for the fans, for the players, for all the news. Firebirds Weekly. This week's guests are Agiye and Lorenzo Jones Jr.
Time delivers, pass bounces around, it's intercepted. It's picked off by Lorenzo Jones. Jones, who was shaken up earlier, good to see him back out there. He returns that pick all the way close to midfield.
Welcome to Firebirds Weekly on a Thursday. We are here live at Cugino's Pizzeria on 240 Broadway in Rensselaer. And we've got a full panel here tonight. On my extreme left is my co-host, Chris Sipperly. And in the middle, we have two of the most athletic guys on the Albany Firebirds. To my right here left, immediate left, Lorenzo Jones Jr. and Agiye. Welcome to the program, fellas.
Nice. Thank you.
Now we're excited to have you on. We've had some challenges over the last few weeks, and the good news is you guys are coming off a victory in the beautiful state of Texas.
Absolutely.
For sure. No better way to start the show than with the W.
Yeah, for sure.
We love the W. So last week, after some changes and games getting moved around and stuff, you guys go to Beaumont, Texas, to face the Renegades on Saturday, coming out with a 66-48 victory. Talk about kind of what that entailed, like having to change the schedule a little bit, and then hey, we got to go to Texas to play the Renegades for a third time. Tell me about how that kind of worked out in the lead up to the game.
So, honestly, we had some mishaps and schedule changes.
There you go.
Some schedule changes.
Yep.
And, as a team, you just have to adjust. It doesn't really matter. You got to be ready for the next game, next day, whether it's 24 hours or a week later. So, as a team, we had to really prepare, do everything we can to stay healthy, stay in the game, stay motivated, because it didn't matter who we played at the time, whether it was them or another team. We just had to make sure that we were ready to come out and to dominate.
Yeah, and get a very, very important win that sets up this weekend's game.
Absolutely.
How about for you, Lorenzo?
I think it was a decent game. Our offense played pretty well. Like you said, we had some mishaps, but I think we did a pretty good job of having a quick turnaround and having to be prepared. I think the guys handled it well. The coaches handled it well with being able to get us ready and having a game plan for us to go in and be able to play a full game.
How was it, with Josh? Obviously, Sam wasn't able to attend, had some family things going on, but Josh stepped right in and all that. Obviously, Agiye, you're in there in the offense. But, talk about, Josh being able to step in and he ends up with 9 total touchdowns and it's obviously a big game for him. Just talk about, coming off of okay, Sam can't play and Josh, right in there.
Honestly, how I feel as a wide receiver and just as seeing everything, we got the best 2 quarterbacks in the league, if not all in the world, really. So just with Sam not being able to come out and Coca being able to come in and fulfill the spot and not miss a beat, honestly, it didn't really matter who played. Everybody was going to get it done, and Coca showed his resilience and him just being patient, him doing his job and not worried about nothing else but coming out there and dominating and making sure that he's taking part of his opportunity, and that's exactly what we did.
So I got a question for you. Does he ever get mad? Like, does he ever, obviously, he probably doesn't swear, but does he get mad? I haven't seen that from him. Does he have it in him?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you, because I don't even get mad myself. But if we're being honest, if he does get mad, it's probably in a competitive way.
Yeah, and internally, yeah.
But other than that, he's a happy guy. Everybody's pretty happy to me, as I see.
And so take the win there. You go move up to 9-2 with the big matchup, obviously on Saturday against the Nashville/Clarksville Cats. Just talk about this week getting prepared for that. Obviously it's a big game. It's going to be for the number 1 spot in the playoffs, and the possibility of having home field all the way through. Obviously that's to be determined, but just talk about getting prepared this week and what Coach Ware and Coach Issei, Coach all the different ones have ready and working on this week?
Yeah, I think most importantly, it's the biggest game for us because it's the next game that we have to play.
Yep.
I think that going into this week, we aren't doing anything differently than we already do. We go in and we prepare and we go with our game plan, and we bet on our guys to win. One thing I love about Coach Cisse is that he bets on us at all times. He's willing to gamble and throw in all the chips on his guys. So having that trust from him and being able to go out and play free, and just knowing that at the end of the day, like he has my back, it makes it a lot easier to go out and play well. As far as preparing for Nashville, like I said, it's another week for us just because we know that every week for us is a super important week for us to get better as a team, for us to get better as a defense. So we really key in on just being able to um, find, excellence and perfection. So just doing that, it allows us to prepare for anybody, whether it's a team that has one win or a team that has one loss.
Is there anything I know that obviously the win is the paramount.
Yeah.
That's the most important. But I know you guys know the stakes in terms of if you guys win, you got to win by a certain amount because that's the way the tiebreakers work. Do you guys, I mean, is that something you guys actively think about, or is that something that's like, okay, Saturday, that's somebody else's problem? I just play and whatever happens, that what happens. You don't think about that scenario.
Yeah, I don't think about it a whole lot. We kind of already have a lot going on
Of
with
course.
having our schedule being busy and then having our lives outside of football.
Sure.
I don't even think about it until someone brings it up.
Okay.
I like to go in and focus on updating my resume every day, trying to prove myself every day for the coaching staff, for this, organization, just to show that I'm willing to come out and get better and compete every day. So just thinking about it that way, it allows me to be able to move and understand that like you have to prove yourself. So.
Well, I have a question for you. So you came in week 6, 7, maybe I forget. Except no, it's for you.
Oh, for me? Okay.
6, 7.
Yeah, 6, 7.
Yeah,
Yeah,
6, 7.
yeah, 100%. So you kind of came in at a weird. I want to say weird time, but you've had a lot of changes where this guy was down, this guy is up. Now we're kind of starting to see, at least so I think, if I'm reading the tea leaves correctly. Now we're seeing some guys possibly coming back. You've coming in here, you kind of had to learn how things were here. You kind of hit the ground running.
Yes, sir.
Now you've kind of shown what you can do. Now you have some guys coming back. Where's your head at as far as how you want to kind of see the rest of the season go for you personally, or you just focus on wins and losses?
Honestly, from all my life, I've been in this type of position and predicament.
Yep.
And honestly, I can't really tell you how I feel about it because realistically, it's all about competition. It's all about
That's the best way to look at it.
Yeah, and it's all about that's what football is about, competition.
Mm-hmm.
And it don't matter who's next to me, who's in front of me, who's behind me.
Sure.
I just got to worry about myself. And I just know that it's really good that I was able to come in and fill in and show and really just prove to this organization that I'm able to
100%.
do it.
Timing's everything.
Absolutely.
Everything in life is about timing, and I felt like you came in at a really, really interesting time.
Yes, sir.
And you're still in an interesting time now, but it's all good. It's all good time, right?
Of course.
So I think that's been fun to watch because I know, from a fan standpoint, it's like, man, this guy's out. But at the end of the day, we do trust the coaching staff and the management here, but you really don't know what you got until you play. And I can speak for at least a decent section of the fans. They're pretty excited to see you play every Saturday, Friday, Sunday, whenever it is. So keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you the one thing that I've. Oh, go ahead. I cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say the one thing about this receiver group, I've been around a lot of receiver groups, and this is the one receiver group where you have a bunch of guys that have a bunch of potential and a bunch of ability to score all game long, and everyone is always genuinely happy with the result, whether the ball is in their hands or not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's critical
and
for
I
team
think,
success.
Yeah, I think that's what makes our offense so good. Like we're able to have guys that understand their roles and understand that, it's all about time. And like he just said, him coming in at week 6 and then us having guys out and then us having guys come back in from injury and him being here, I honestly don't think that it's going to be a difference.
No, I don't think so either. It certainly wasn't asking in a way like, oh my gosh, what are you going to do? I think the most impressive thing is, and Coach Ware touched on it, I think this week or last week, if you take Sam's numbers and then you take Josh's numbers, you add them together, and then they're obviously upper echelon.
Right.
Then if you were to turn back and look at all the guys that have played receiver this year, it's the same story.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it just kind of speaks to the system and the guys that are here. And in the end, you have the right people here making the most of the right opportunity. Right. I think that's the most exciting thing that I'm seeing.
So one of the things, I worked as a journalist for a long time, and we had a couple of teams I covered at a high school, a bunch of high schools, but we had a team where it was like their best competition was in their own practice room.
Yep.
And it's great because we have a receiver and a defensive back here. So I will start with you, Lorenzo. What is it like facing Agiye and the rest of the receiving corps on a daily basis in practice?
I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to be the best work you're going to see when it comes to us competing with each other. It's all raw. We all just want to get each other better. We're all competitors, and we all play at a high level. So, us not wanting to lose a rep and, that just kind of snowball affecting, it just allows practices to be at such a high premium just because we have guys that can compete. Like, I don't like losing reps, but, I know guarding a high motion, especially with Agiye running a high motion, it makes it a lot harder.
So there's basically,
it's the iron sharpens iron kind of line.
It's from the time we get on the field and we start competing with warm up, because we do like a catch and drill and we compete against our receivers.
Start from there,
like pre-practice kind of a thing. Yeah,
exactly. From the point practice starts, we're competing all the way up until the end, and I really enjoy it. Like, I look forward to practices, and I look forward to practicing against all of the guys on the offense. So it's always a fun time.
All right, so I'll ask the same question for Agiye. What is it like facing Lorenzo and the rest of the defensive backs during practice?
Honestly, I could tell you right now, just looking in from the inside out, we have the best athletes in the whole league, honestly. Personally, from defensive line to offensive line, quarterback, wide receiver, corners, coaches, everything. Like, everything is when really when it comes in practice, we sit in here almost, we can't fight each other, but we get to the point to where we so competitive to where it get there.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
And that's what happens when you have a bunch of dogs in a cage,
That seems to be the word the last few weeks. Yeah. And I think Cisse even said, he's like, I got a bunch of dogs.
Dogs in a cage. Like, honestly, when you lock up a bunch of dogs in a cage, they only gonna do so much, and we be fighting every day. It don't matter, because we know when it comes to game day, it's gonna be nothing but us. We don't really focus on everything, all the rah-rah, all the outside noises is nothing but focusing on ourselves and focusing on holding each other accountable.
Well, for sure.
And that's exactly what happens in every practice.
Well, the other thing too, and again, nobody likes to lose, obviously.
Absolutely.
And Coach will slap me, if I say, there's such a good thing as a good loss, as it really isn't. But I think there's some value in playing angry.
Mm-hmm.
I think again, I wasn't playing in the game, obviously. I mean, you guys were, but we came on the week after the Clarksville game, and I basically said, listen, you guys lost, right? But how that game was lost is not the way that games normally go. So I think you guys have a great opportunity to wrong that right, for lack of a better phrase.
Right that wrong.
Yeah,
you got it backwards.
Sorry.
Okay.
But yeah, I think there's a lot of good possibilities and momentum for you guys, even though you went through a little bit of a hard stretch.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I will say, being a rookie and coming into an organization where there's such a high standard and they win so much, and then the first couple losses in 2 seasons, are when you're here. So it's kind of like you
own it to an extent.
Right,
yep.
You gotta kind of try to figure out how to accept the loss and move on with it, and learn from it, and kind of prove to the guys on the team, prove to the coaching staff that you learned from it, because you feel like you always, like, when you're winning, you feel like you always have to win.
Right, and you feel like you always have the answers too.
And
You know,
and then when
you're not
you
challenged
don't,
in some ways.
right, and when you don't, it forces you to kind of take a look in the mirror, like, have I been doing everything right? Have I been doing everything that I needed to do?
Right.
Whether it's special teams or on defense.
Yep.
So I will say that there wasn't all bad that came from it, especially being, like I said, a rookie, and then being able to have an impact on the team. So, like, stuff like that really helps me understand that, like, everybody doesn't win.
Yeah.
So winning is really it's what you get from working during the week.
Right.
You work hard during the week and you win.
Yep.
And when you don't win, it's hard to showcase to the people that aren't in the practice with us 4 days a week,
right,
how hard we were working.
Well, I mean, the old phrase is, the game is won during the week, but the game is played on Saturday.
That's why it's called playing.
That's
You're
right.
working on the other 4.
That's correct.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
So we'll get back to you guys in a second. We just got a couple of announcements that we want to make sure we're talking about. We are finishing up our sales for the raffle. We're raffling off a 2025 Arena Crown away jersey that's been signed by all the players, and we want to thank you guys again for doing that for us. Raising money for the Center for Disability Services, and we've raised, I think, over $500 or something like that already, and we're going to be there on Saturday. We want you guys to buy tickets. It's $5. You can either do it at the game on Saturday, or you can go online to our Facebook page with the Nest Albany Firebirds News. We have, and there's going to be a QR code there that you guys can buy the raffle tickets from Chris. He's got that all kind of set up, and the winner will take home a 2025 jersey. And we're going to make sure it's not Tom Gross, because he already has the helmet from last year. So we are going to, Tommy is not getting that, but I'm not rigging it, but
Tommy's got to buy a ticket first.
Oh, Tommy doesn't have tickets.
I don't even
Tom
know.
Gross, buy tickets now. I'm telling you, $5.
He could be. I don't know.
Well, if he hasn't, buy tickets, Tom. So we're doing that, and we look forward to that. We're going to be picking that raffle winner probably at our next show, whenever that ends up being. Again, we're working on the timing. Full-time jobs getting in the way, of course, but we'll figure that out the next time we have a live show, which should be next Tuesday, but we'll check on that later as we go. Keep an eye on our socials for that.
Well, Denise, you got to sell him more tickets. I see your comment. It's a guess you sold tickets to Tom, but sell more to Tom.
Thank you, Denise, but sell more to Tom. And then Saturday, the block party starts at 5:00 on South Pearl Street. Lots of different vendors, food trucks, and a girl doing face painting, and a whole bunch of stuff that's going on, including our Nest pregame show. Planning to go 5:30 to 6. Keep your eye on that. We're definitely looking forward to that, to get everybody hyped for the game on Saturday. So 5 to 7, be there in front of the on South Pearl Street, right in front of MVP Arena for that. And then Flock Support is working on a fundraiser themselves. They're doing it's basically Toys for Pets, I guess, if you want to call it that. I'm not sure the exact name off the top of my head. But they're raising, getting the toys and stuff like that they can use for the animal shelter, and do that, and that's a big deal. And Flock Support is obviously huge. Not only for us, they've helped us a lot, and it's been a great relationship. But to you guys, let me go back to you guys, and I'll start with you, Lorenzo, and then I'll go to Agiye next. Talk about what Flock Support has meant to you in your time here in Albany.
Oh man, it's been great. Just being able to be so far from home, and then having a bunch of people that care so much about you, especially at this level where you're a grown man. It means a lot. So a huge shout out to all of the people that support for Flock U. Huge shout out to everyone that comes out to the games and support us. We really appreciate it. It means a lot, because we spend a lot of time doing football during the week, so having time to go grocery shopping, or figuring out times to set up stuff like that.
The adulting process.
Yeah, it kind of makes that a lot easier for us to not have to go find snacks or not have to go find drinks, because we already had people that brought it for us, and we're just truly grateful for it. It helps out so much. most of the time when I get my stuff, like I'm able to make it last, and then before you know it, we're getting
Right.
another one.
I think they've had 5 rounds of it so far, I believe.
Yeah.
Something like that, 5 or 6 rounds of it so far. So it's they put a lot into it, and it's such a process to watch the behind the scenes of it. You guys get the bags, and it's like, hey, here's your stuff, and it's literally this huge process with like tons and tons of people that are involved. So
I figured.
What about you? What about you, Agiye, in terms of what flock support has meant to you in your time in Albany?
Flock support, they show a lot of love. Whether it's adopt a bag, whether it's on the field, whether it's on social media, scoring. Every time I see a fan, they're letting me know how much value you bring to the team, and it's all with the teammates. Every time somebody has an interaction, I always hear it like, we value you not as just a football player, but as a person, and that's really great as a fan base, and as flock you to support what's been going on throughout this whole arena and throughout this whole season. So it's actually a blessing that these people come in and help us, and we're able to stay healthy, take a few things off our plate, just like Lo said, and just being able to focus on nothing but football, but also providing nothing but the best performance for our fans.
I've heard from different people over the year and even last year that the dude wipes are a big help. Is that a good spot? That should be our sponsor. We should get the sponsor for dude wipes. I'm just saying.
I don't know about those.
Listen, yeah, I know it's certainly a level of choice when it comes to that stuff.
So we need a sponsor.
So so Adam, I'm going to pop up a question. I just would like you to ask that to these guys before it gets forgotten.
Oh, okay. So Denise Motherflocker says, when we're on our feet cheering and screaming, clapping and yelling, do you hear it? And does it help, or are you just laser focused and not really hearing the cheering in the crowd?
I'm pretty sure I can hear everybody individually, whether they cussing me out or cheering me on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very funny, but I can hear everybody. I promise. Even when I'm on kickoff and people behind me talking.
I think I was on the sideline the one time, and you were literally on that one side, like literally 5 feet away from me. And I think there was dudes on the other side that were like, F you, and you suck.
I love it. I hear it all.
Definitely hear it all for sure.
But so I ask this questions a lot, and maybe it's a question I shouldn't ask all the time, but I do.
I just asked about dude wipes. You ask whatever you want.
So we obviously go to the home games. We know what the home games feel like. We know what the home games feel like, look like, smell like, the whole deal.
Mm-hmm.
So there seems to be a certain amount of energy in that building, regardless of how many people are in it. When you go on the road, how do you feel about being on the road when sometimes, in most cases, I guess I should say, that you don't have the crowd that you have here in Albany?
Mm-hmm.
I know you're there to do a job, but is there times where it's like you have a hard time getting into the flow because it just doesn't feel the same?
I think with our group, we try to create our own energy. So whether that be the offense creating their energy, and then or the defense creating their energy, I think we do a good job of creating our own energy throughout the week of practice. To kind of prepare us for weeks like this past weekend where there wasn't a whole lot of people in the stands. We kind of lean on each other. Sometimes it takes a little bit to get going. We start a little slow, but we'd like to start out fast and start out popping from the start, but most of the time we end up finding our juice, and then we get going, and once we get rolling, like we're rolling.
Oh, that's the truth, because especially when either somebody makes a big play on offense or defense or special teams, that usually takes one play, and then you guys just we see it week in, week out.
Absolutely, that's all.
All right, so we wanted to when we do these shows, we get a chance to talk to you guys and find out about your history of football before coming to Albany. And Agiye, I want to start with you. And like I said, Lorenzo, before we came on, if you have something to chime in, definitely do so. But both of you guys are Florida guys.
Yes, sir.
Agiye, I'll ask you first, and then Lorenzo, you can jump in, obviously. Florida football is a different world than football here in the Northeast. What is it like, playing in Florida and just having so much competition on a daily basis, with the talent that's down in Florida?
All my life, all I've heard genuinely, that speed kills. And if you be honest, Florida got nothing but that. I mean, Texas got it too. Cali got it as well. But when you look at the analytics and all the statistics wise,
Yeah.
all the Florida boys, we moving. So everywhere I go, everywhere me and Lorenzo go, I mean, people like, wow, y'all fast. And we don't look fast, but we fast. Definitely faster than the average Joe.
Yeah.
So that's something that I always see all the time. All these places I went to, racing, everybody calling us fast. It's a Florida thing, but it's just proving that there's a different speed in each area of the section of the United States.
Mhm.
And I love being able to play everywhere because you get to get the taste of everything. It's always it tests your compatibility and everything else.
How about you, Lorenzo?
Pretty much the same for real. Like just spend a lot of time outside running around, racing, competing for real. So I think that was just something that was just natural for real. Like everybody was always outside wanting to win. Nobody wanted to lose. Nobody wanted to be last. You always racing somewhere, trying to get somewhere first. So I think that's just naturally kind of embedded something in us growing up, and then coming out, going somewhere else to play ball for real. You just kind of have a natural competitiveness to you to always want to win your rep or win whatever you're doing. So I think that's kind of what helps stand out a little bit. But I don't know, like it wasn't nothing crazy for real. You just always outside finding something to do for real.
Mhm.
When did you guys start playing football? I'll start with Agiye and then come to you, Lorenzo.
Yes, sir. I started playing football around 5, 6 years old.
Okay.
Being able to play flag football and like just little mighty mites, getting myself in the groove of knowing how to move, knowing how to, maneuver, whether it's me being a wide receiver, quarterback, DB, just being able to learn the game at a young age was very, very much a blessing.
Who's your kind of football influence?
Um,
Like when you're little like that.
it's really crazy, and I tell everybody this every time. Like I didn't really look at the outside whenever I was a kid. Even like in high school, I didn't really have nobody as an idol. I was just so focused on being the best person I could be, and then I could probably match my skills, with a few individuals like Julio Jones.
Yep.
Uh,
That's a good one.
it's a lot of people I've heard, but
Mm.
I just try to be as much as the best person as myself to create, a new
Okay.
a new character, a new idol.
How about you, Lorenzo? When did you start to play football and get involved in the game?
I was probably like, I think I was like a sophomore, a junior in high school.
Okay, so you started really late
Yeah,
comparatively to a lot of guys.
yeah. I tried to play 1 year of city league for real, and I think I played like a couple games in it, and then it just didn't really finish, and then I just stopped playing football. Then I picked it back up junior year for real, just because I was just wanted to go do what my homeboys was doing,
Right.
and I just kind of figured out I was decent at it,
Mhm.
so I was like, I'll keep playing, and then now I'm here for real. So yeah, I ain't been playing too long, but it feel like it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, especially when it's hot. Like, well, actually, this weather's nothing for you guys. I shouldn't even mention that. That's nothing.
Yeah, right.
No humidity.
Yeah.
It been a little hot. It's been a
Little
little hot.
Yeah, I was in North Carolina and it was 100 degrees and it was just like it was up here and I was like, damn, it's hot.
That's hot. That's hot.
So Agiye, I wanted to ask about you because you were one of these really high recruits, 4-star, recruits out of school. What was it like having these Power 5 schools like Alabama and all that kind of knocking at your door to be like, hey, come play with us. What was that recruiting process like for you?
Honestly, my recruiting process was so crazy that I didn't really realize what was going on outside. I was just so focused on being the best receiver. Coming into high school, from freshman to sophomore to junior year, my main focus was to be on the top. So, I was kind of unaware of all the rankings and all the politics that was going on around me. But, by end of senior year, when everybody started coming knocking at your door, I had to really, step up and really figure out where I wanted to be as an individual and grow. And it was definitely a process that I'll never forget. Stressful. It was happy. It was a million emotions that I went through. But being an athlete and being an individual as myself, I was just focused on one thing, and I was going to the next level.
And you had offers from Georgia, LSU, Michigan, Miami, Oregon, but you end up picking with Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Tell me about coming to that decision and picking the Crimson Tide over some of those other terrific institutions.
I was friends with a lot of the wide receivers right beforehand, and even then, I was just looking at all the like statistic wise. You see that wide receivers were the most dominant position as in Alabama, one of the most. Besides D lineman and really every position in Alabama was really dominant. Being able to go in there and compete and be able to show people that I was able to hang with the big dogs, it definitely put a little water in my cup to get myself going, do nothing but the right, be like the best wide receiver. And it was definitely a different caliber once you go to SEC.
Yeah, I
absolutely.
can't even imagine. Like, I mean, honestly, like even watching the guys, especially the Firebirds, but watching, the guys that play in this league, there's a lot of good talent. There's a ton of good talent in this league, but that Southern Athletic Conference is something else.
Yeah, it is.
And Firebirds became kind of SEC, New York basically with Kadir is an Ole Miss guy, and Morris Joseph I think was an SEC. I think we interviewed him, and then it's become SEC upstate New York.
Absolutely, we here.
What is it? I mean, going in there as a true freshman, you're 17, 18 years old, and now you're playing against, now you're a boy playing against men, 21, 22-year-old guys. What was that like in that, kind of that first little bit of time of like, oh my God, like I'm going to try to compete, and I know my ability, and, now I've got these guys I'm facing every day.
Correct. Honestly, it was all my life I had to be extremely adaptive to my environment. So, being able to come in early, I came in early at Alabama, and I had to figure it out. Coach gave me a platform, and I had to take the platform and figure it out. So I had to grow as an individual outside, just being around, different caliber athletes, like I said, and also being around older men, I really had to adapt and be a better man and, grow up.
Who was somebody there did you kind of looked up to, or did anybody kind of take you under their wing a little bit of like, hey, I know you're a young guy, but I want to help you out, to move to the next thing.
So the funny part is the whole wide receiver group, because they all in the league,
Yeah, who was in your group that year?
Oh, it was Javon Baker, Jameson Williams.
Oh wow.
I know we had Mechie, Slade, C6, which is Christian Leary.
We're all looking at going, okay, that guy, in the league.
I was gonna say, I think I have their football cards in my house. You know what I mean?
Like it's like literally probably 10 or 12 of them are in the league right now, if not still playing football. So it was just great to be around them individuals every day and compete. And that's what I was saying. Being able to compete against those type of caliber of athletes. You was able to push each other and also bank off each other, whether to learn a new skill that you didn't have, or teach somebody a skill that they didn't have. It was always great.
And then by the end of that year, you go in as an 18-year-old, fresh out of high school, and then by the end of that football season, you're playing in the national championship.
Absolutely.
First off, so my first part of the question is going to be, what was that time like? Because it's like 6 weeks in between, like the end of the season and then the championship games in like mid-January. And then what was it like, kind of the week leading up? Because you're doing all these media things, and what was that like in terms of like, again, you're like an 18-year-old kid, and you're, there's 1,000 media guys, and it's like, who's gonna win the national championship? What was that like?
Honestly, I wasn't able to get the full experience of that because me coming into the national championship was kind of like a last minute decision.
But you still, you're still going through the stuff with the team, though.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like we got this huge thing to play, coming up in a week, and it's like you got media obligations, you got this, that, and the other thing that's going on. That had to be something.
Yeah, it was definitely something. All the fans that came through, all the media, all the people, all the stuff that we had to do the week leading up to the national championship, especially, with just the offense individually and the defense individually. It was a very long process that whole week. We definitely had a lot of meetings, a lot of things to do that week. And then when it came to game day, it was more like a rest day, even though we still had a lot to do. But, it was definitely experience.
What was it like playing in Alabama Stadium? Like, that's something we watch on TV. You turn on ESPN and they got the night games going, and it's like, it just looks like this incredible atmosphere. What was that kind of like, as a home player for that?
With over 100,000 plus fans, it's kind of hard to even think, for real. You can't really hear nothing on the field. You can't really focus, but you got to, as an athlete, you got to go in there, dominate, and just being in that whole little atmosphere was very good. Taught me how to be focused in the most loudest environment, especially going to other environments like Georgia, LSU, Tennessee. Just those, them kind of puts you in the mode and the mindset to, you got to focus no matter what distractions are going on.
So in other words, someone yelling at you at
MVP.
Where you just came from, Texas.
Yeah. Or Texas, right? Yeah.
Doesn't mean much, does it?
Yeah, it don't really mean much. I could barely. If anything, I love it.
Yep.
Well, we won't talk about how that national championship ended up.
Yeah.
But then you end up, kind of making the choice to leave Alabama and, kind of try to catch on with UCF. Things go on there and you're not able to do it. Then you go to Sacramento. Talk about just that transition of like, okay, I'm going to new places, and where that kind of came from. Like, you just wanted a new opportunity, that kind of thing.
Honestly, a lot of things don't go how they plan, and a lot of things change throughout the year, every day, every second. And honestly, it didn't really matter. I just had to figure out, whether I had to stay there or not. And if I did move, I still had to be a better person and still perform. And that's kind of what happened. Transfer portal is a lot for certain individuals, and a lot of individuals, and a lot of players go through it now.
I don't think enough people talk about that.
Yeah, but right now,
and now they're changing the rules anyway, where it's going to be 5 years, 5 years and 5 seasons, and that's it. You don't get any extra, whatever they're changing it to. So it's a whole different thing even for that.
Yeah, so everybody's scattering around. So but me, I just had to stay in one place, stay where my feet were, and work on myself, and that's exactly what I was able to do to perform.
Did you, so picking UCF, was that a kind of a thing of like, I want to be closer to family, or was that just like that was a good opportunity football wise, or both?
Yeah, it was definitely more about being close to family.
Yeah.
Alabama wasn't too bad at 9 hours. Texas definitely was a little bit 19, 18 hours every trip. But, I love to drive. I love to travel, but at that point in time, I was having my baby boy. So, I wanted to be closer to him.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And then, so tell me, obviously we'll kind of skip ahead a little bit. Just tell me about the ability to come to Albany. How did you, what was kind of the process for that? I'm assuming Coach Ware got a hold of you in some way, or obviously had your contact and that kind of thing. Talk about, coming to Albany and what that was about.
Coach Ware was able to reach out to me, found me. I had just previously did my pro day and just came out of Sacramento State in California. So, just being able to have the opportunity to show him what I could do outside of football, and him being, and a lot of scouts wanted to see a lot of things, physicality. They wanted to see me actually playing the game because I wasn't able to play in full games throughout my senior year. So right now everything I'm doing is just everything that the scouts wanted to see. So
I think they've actually checked the physicality box twice so far.
Well, we checked that box. We've also checked the hurdle box. So basically the hurdle, it's some version 1-2 of Agiye Hall and Saquon Barkley, but his is backwards. So I don't, we have to figure 1-2, but that's definitely up there. You hopping over guys. Yeah. So and then we kind of talked about the the Albany thing, and what did you think when you first got here compared to like now? So it's been a couple of months. What was your thought in terms of Albany? You've been in all these other places, like. Okay, I'm going to be in upstate New York. Like, I've never been there before. Like, that's a different place for me. What was that kind of like coming here and just getting involved in that?
So fun fact, I have family in Jamaica. Queens.
Yeah,
Okay,
you got
okay.
it.
So yeah, so it wasn't too familiar. And then also I have family in Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay.
So I've been up here a little bit.
Yep.
Other than that, just being in upstate New York, it is different from all the delis. I love the food. All the food. I love
It's a step back.
I love the speed limit.
Yeah.
Florida traffic ain't too bad compared to Florida. Just everything. Only thing that's horrible is probably tax.
Yeah, you're not dealing with the Florida man up here. No. Well, depending on
Listen,
where you are.
We have different versions in different counties.
Absolutely.
Yes, we do.
We all have our own.
But other than that,
Guys.
it's been pretty well.
Good.
New York's really nice. Being at Albany and the football team, coach run it like a little Alabama. So we just try to be on point as much as possible and try to perform best as possible.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. What last question? I think for me, and you may have others, but on the spot, better coach, Nick Saban or Damon Ware?
Oh man, I have to shut his mic off.
How about this? Both.
Yeah,
Listen,
that's the right answer.
No, for sure. I mean,
Both.
no, they're both.
Obviously, I'm just having fun, but yeah, of course, every one of both of those guys is obviously amazing.
Absolutely,
what they do.
They just alike. They love to compete.
You probably just answered the question I was going to ask you. What makes Coach Ware? Obviously, is the competition, right?
Yeah, it's competition wise, and not only that, he don't care what person. He don't care if you were Superman. He wants you to still work on yourself and be the best person ever. Like it don't matter. Like all this athleticism, like he don't care about that. He wants you to do things right, do things the pro way, and there's a lot of. He's been through a lot. He's been through bigger programs. I've been at bigger programs, but there's a lot of other athletes that's been at other programs and taught different things.
Mm-hmm.
But Coach Damian Ware, he makes sure that you're doing the right thing, and he pushes you to the ultimate max.
One of the things I probably enjoy the most, and he's talked about it, is the pre-practice stuff.
Absolutely.
He's talked ad nauseum. We spent a good time at training camp this year. Nothing drives him more crazy than taking the time to work with you one-on-one and then not have it translate into team time.
Yes, sir.
Drive him nuts. And to me, I think that's probably the most special, most realistic thing that you can ask of a player, because there's no guarantees what the game's going to be. Right. But if you can't take the one-on-one time and translate it into practice, to me, you don't have much of a chance of getting better. So seriously. I enjoy that probably the most in terms of me watching him coach. Yes, I really like that about him.
Me as well.
All right. So Lorenzo, you're also a Florida guy, Edgewater High School in Florida.
Is that outside of Orlando?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Are you a Disney guy? Well, that's the important questions first.
Nah, I ain't been to Disney. I ain't gonna lie.
Not too expensive.
Yeah,
there you go. All right. So you did obviously football, for a couple of years. Also track and field. For some of ours, I coach, in Vermont, and some of our better athletes are kids that we were like, hey, do track and field, do the hurdles, whatever. Talk about how your experience in track and field helps you as a football player, even to now.
I would say my track and field experience definitely, it allowed me to learn how to run the proper way.
That's critical.
It allowed me to learn how to run without overcompensating on certain muscles. So I do think that it allowed me to be able to, because I did triple jump, so I was always working on my plyometrics, working on being explosive.
Yep.
So it always kept me in the explosive state. Being able to go high point a ball or being able to, shed a blocker, and having that lower body strength, having that lower body stability to be able to, handle what I need to handle.
Yeah, jump, but then also take on a blocker to take on, to be physical with a receiver.
I also wonder and think, somebody that runs track, in my opinion anyway, allows you to kind of find that next gear when you need it.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, with track, because I ran track as well, the hurdling that I'll be doing, it's all track, baby. It's all track, being able to learn how to jump and keep running, that's all track right there.
Oh, for sure. Like my daughter's 12 and she plays a ton of softball, and she wants to play winter softball. I said, no, you got to play basketball.
Play basketball.
You have to.
You don't want to get burned out either. I mean,
right.
that's the beautiful thing of it. Yeah.
You have to work different muscle groups.
Absolutely.
Like this specialized stuff is great to an extent, but you need other things. I mean, how many great tight ends were power forwards at some point in their lives? You know what I mean? Like just things like that. I think it's important.
everything translates to each other. Absolutely.
It does.
And then you go from high school, and then you end up going to Northwestern for a couple of years. Talk about your recruiting process. It's going to be a little different than the guy next to you, but
Yeah.
just as important.
Yeah. What's crazy is I wasn't even into all the recruiting or anything like that for real. I was just doing it just because like it was something that kept me off the streets for real. It was something that kept me busy. So I was able to hang out with the guys and have some fun doing it, and not have to worry about being in no type of trouble. So um, that's kind of why I did it. And then once I got my first scholarship, it was to Florida Atlantic,
Okay.
and I was just kind of like, this might be something I can do, and I just kind of started taking it a little bit more serious, not as serious as I should have, but a little bit more serious as to like, okay, like I want to go to college for this. And then Northwestern was actually an opportunity I was given because of a hometown friend. He was going there. He was already doing track there,
Mm.
and he just kind of reached out to the coach, and they were like, "Hey, like we'll bring you out. You can do football and track." And I was like, "Why not?" So
Yeah, let's find out. Why the heck?
yeah,
Sure.
I ain't really care about, and that's the thing with me. Like, I ain't never really care about where my school was at, or I didn't even take a visit. I took one college visit my whole college career, and yeah, I ain't never really cared. As long as I was there, and you was gonna help me get an education, help me get away from my current situation, then that was all you had to do for me, for real.
I want to ask you a little bit about that, and it's more nuanced maybe, but you keep talking about like getting out of your situation, like with your home situation, or with your friends or the people that you were with. I think that's an important message because a lot of what we do, and you guys obviously are front facing, where you're working, you're signing autographs to the kids, and that's a lot of the stuff that you guys do as professional athletes. But talk a little bit about how how and obviously you don't have to get into it because I know it's probably a little bit of a tough subject maybe, but talk a little bit about how sports and football was able to help you change your situation when you were growing up.
Yeah, I mean, football definitely has taken me places I would never have went if I wasn't on the football team. And it's done things for me that I don't think I wouldn't have been able to do if I hadn't have met the people that I met through football. I just think it's one of those things where your environment is just what your environment is, and a lot of people try to say that like they're a product of the environment that they're from.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, like it was just one of those things where I wasn't trying to be like everybody else. Like
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't trying to be like the older guys I grew up seeing going to the park and stuff like that. Like listening to them tell me about how they almost finished, or what they could have did. So I think that was my biggest fear, was being one of those guys that said that they could have, or that they should have did it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think once I started, I've always been like the type of guy, like if I'm gonna start it, I'm gonna finish it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what it was. Like I started football, and like it started to help me, and I seen what it could do for me, and I seen like how it shaped me to be the man I am today. Uh, it's just one of those things, like it teaches you so much discipline. It teaches you it teaches you so much regiment. Like it, and it's like it's unconscious because you for so many years you wake up, you go to workouts, and then now it's like got to be up at 5:30 for workouts. What's waking you up in the morning?
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me is I got to finish something I started, and ultimately just not wanting to go back home is the biggest
Mm-hmm.
the biggest reason, honestly. Yeah.
But I think that is a kind of a great message, with the kids, where it's like no matter where you are, where you come from, you are the one that has the ability to change your environment.
Absolutely.
And so I think that's a great message, for everybody, but especially like I said, kids, because those guys, those are the guys that look up to you as professional athletes, really.
For sure.
Absolutely.
So you kind of move around a little bit for your thing. Talk about your role. You go to Minnesota to play at school, and then talk about your journey from say that Minnesota Mankato to, now being here in Albany, being a professional athlete and being in Albany? Like,
Sure. When I was at Minnesota, I was actually doing football and track, and I kind of had to make a decision as far as like for my career, as for like what do I want to do? What do I see myself doing? 4 years from now, 5 years from now, and I ran with football. It was I love the connections that I built with people and these random people that you walk in and you meet them in the beginning of August, and somehow they're like, the closest person to you by December. I think that's a crazy, it's a crazy, a crazy way to meet somebody for one, and to have so much trust in somebody in such a short amount of time. So it just kind of shows you the type of connections that it builds with people.
you almost see them more than you see your family, or maybe even like your girlfriend, or your spouse or whatever. Yeah.
Yep. And I think just being able to be around a bunch of guys that either go through the same stuff that you go through, or have been through it or understand it, it brings that it brings the gratitude that you kind of look for in the sport.
Sure.
Track it was so individualized. So like for me, it was like when I won, and when I lost. So like for me, I kind of felt like for track, I was super solo when it came to competition. I was first in my jumps, and that's all that mattered to me. And now it's like with football, it doesn't matter if I have 4 picks in the game. If we lose, it doesn't really matter.
Mhm.
But it also doesn't matter if I don't have any picks in the game. If we win,
Correct.
it
Yep.
doesn't matter. And that's what I like about it. You can lean on guys, especially when you're going through stuff. It's a lot of guys that go through pretty much similar stuff
Yep.
that's on the team, and they're all willing to be open ears, and they're all willing to, accept you for who you are and what
Sure.
you have going on.
I think team sports are great for a lot of reasons. I mean, I've said it many times. It's allowed me to kind of get, involved with a bunch of different people and understand where people come from. That's the biggest thing, man. Like,
I've met a lot of people that I would have never met and
Yeah.
never knew what kind of people they are. Great people that I would have never met if it wasn't for the game of football.
1,000%.
Absolutely.
Before I wrap up, I have another question that I got, because we have Denise and a ton. We have a lot of people watching right now, and I wanted to ask this question because I think it's funny, and I think Denise will get a laugh out of it. She asked, which one of your teammates would you never let date your sister?
I think I have to get a team roster out and then like circle them all, or I check them all off, I should say.
I believe that's probably the case.
Yeah.
However, is there anybody that you're like, he's a good dude, but I don't know for that?
I don't know, man. With Sam being the GOAT, man, I don't know. I'm just playing. Coca, man. Coca. He's a funny guy, man. The guy Coca.
All right, so who's your funniest teammate? Maybe that's a little less awkward to ask.
Yeah, I can answer that.
All right, there we go. Perfect. A little less awkward. Denise, don't make me ask awkward questions.
Chris for sure.
Chris Walton.
Chris Walton.
Walton is by far the funniest person walking. Like, even on a regular day, like Chris being himself, man, like he'll have you laughing the whole day.
Absolutely.
Like, if you spend an hour around Chris, by the time you're done, like you're gonna be tired of laughing. Like it's so crazy. Like
I like it. We'll have to get Chris on. We'll have to get some laughs in there.
Funny.
Let's turn it on its head. Who's the most serious all the time?
Oh, the most serious.
Serious?
Like a guy who's just like 100%, go. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just super like,
Business is business, and
that's
everything
it.
else is in business.
What would I say that's super serious?
I feel like we all just goofy men.
Okay,
And we just ready to.
That's a better way to be, I think. I mean,
No,
just to be like, hey, we're having fun. It's loose,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Which one of your teammates would you say has the best chance of being a coach at the who would be the coach of your team? Like if one of the players were like moving up, like let's say to be like
Okay.
the defensive coordinator, let's say, or the whatever. A coach, doesn't matter if it's offense or defense.
I low key got a couple people in mind.
All right.
Too.
I think Zachar.
Oh, yeah.
That was my number one pick.
Yeah,
I think he coaches in like
he
a
does,
high
yeah.
school.
Yeah.
I think that
We love Zach. We love Zach. I need him as a fullback. I need him to score a touchdown. I need it. I need it more than I need anything.
He is an old soul in a young body, man. He just reminds me of so many coaches that I had when I was a kid.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of guys like him.
No, there isn't.
All right, so Zachar is one thought.
Gotta go Sam, man.
Sam,
the GOAT, man. He could do it all. He could probably fly. You know? Damn.
I think Smitty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, Marcus, of course. Yeah.
He's not super outspoken though, but
He'd be one of those like do by example like leaders, you know.
yeah, he knows Smitty's he's like the Google when it comes to like defense. He's like Google. Like anytime I have a question, I literally just go to Smitty. Like
MarcusSmith.com, the Google for the Albany Firebirds.
Yeah, like I just go to his contact and I hit search. That's the send button.
And my guy Bink, man, my guy DT, man, you gotta give it to him.
For sure.
Speaking of guys that can fly, we'll talk about Mr. Townsend doing the dirty bird up there on the wall.
You could do it all.
I sent him a message the other day, and I don't normally do this, but I was listening. I said I don't know where this team would be without 21. Like he's been incredible this year, in every step, in every way that you could possibly say that.
Absolutely,
he's been
and he's been the one. He's really been the one constant. Other guys have gotten hurt. You know, other guys have got let go or whatever. But DT has been that one constant from start to finish.
One consistent athletic person. I'm telling you, he's gonna do it all.
Well, gentlemen, thank you very much.
We appreciate it.
Sure.
It's been a good time, and I know our friends here at Cugino's has some food for you guys, so we don't want to hold you up too much longer.
Yeah, because we made you go away from your team dinner. So sorry, Coach.
It's okay.
But yeah, Cugino's has some food for these guys. Agiye, Lorenzo, we thank you, man, for being a part of it.
We thank y'all so much.
And
good luck for having us.
And good luck Saturday. We will see you guys Saturday afternoon. We'll be on our pregame. We're trying for 5:30, but keep an eye on the socials. And MVP Arena, 7:00. Watch these two, along with the rest of the Firebirds, go kick some Clarksville, Nashville Cats butt. And we'll see you guys later on.
Bye for now.
Yes, sir.
Bye.